What's going on, everybody? I'm just going to jump right into this. So you always hear people talk about, if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Generally speaking, he's going to eat right away, right then, right? That's how that works. But if you teach that same man to fish, right, he's going to eat for a lifetime. That's the saying. And, I try to be really careful with stuff like this that I'm going to say next, because there's somewhat of a cliche nature of what I'm going to say. I always say, though, that true profundity is found in simplicity. So that just basically means what you might consider I don't really want to use the terminology deep, but the best knowledge, the best wisdom is generally found in the most simple aspects of things, the most simple aspects of life. And, I don't want to sound, cynical or anything like that, but I started just imagining to myself and thinking, I don't think there's anything in the anything in the world wrong with you teaching somebody to fish, particularly if the alternative is giving them some fish, knowing good and well that the chances are that the day is going to come, the next day in this case, where they're going to need something to eat again. So you're going to give them another fish. So it makes sense. Let me teach you how to fish. Because the other benefit of that is that you can turn around and you can teach somebody else to fish, because now you know how to fish. But as I was sitting and I was pondering this, I started thinking about what would be the true motivation. And I hate to say it like this, because if you're like me, you can think of a million good reasons why someone might determine to teach you how to fish. It's a whole heck of a lot bigger than, of course I can be nice. I might want to be nice. But I also, like I said, because on the cool, maybe I don't want to give you fish, right? Because this, presumes that I'm not selling you the fish. That's a conversation for a different time as well. But I'm going to try to jump to the end real quick, and then I'm going to try to fill in the gaps and the holes. What would be the benefit for, Peter the fisherman to teach me how to fish? What would be the benefit? Well, I think that depends, right? Again, I'm not really meaning, because I know what this may sound like to some people, but I have to say it. And I'm saying it like this because, the truth is, while you don't know who all you draw when you say things, the reality is you have to try your best to address those who might think like you if you can help it. But, yeah, sure, you got to have a fishing pole or fishing rod, You got to have fishing line. And there does raise the questions of, well, where are you going to get those things from? I don't know in this example if the issue would be that you're going to be getting the rod and the pole from the same person that's teaching you to fish, especially if it comes down to having to acquire them by way of some sort of trade or barter, meaning some form of currency with, exchange. It might be, but I don't know that that's an absolute thing, but it does make you wonder, like I said, what would cause me to decide to teach you to fish What would make me want to give you a fish even in the first place? Granted, that one's, I think, a little bit easier. If you don't have something, you're going to ask somebody, right? And you can play all you want, but we all get tired of people asking us stuff. So the thought process becomes, again, what is it really behind you teaching me to fish? And what I basically began to hear and began to come up with was this. Well, where are you going to go fishing yet? I mean, somebody say, well, there's a creek and there's a lake and there's a pond and there's the river and the ocean and all these other things. But then, how does the fish get there? And while this is not the case in every situation, how often is it that this creek or this pond, this, lake, this river, ocean, whatever, how often is it that it perhaps belongs to somebody, right? And this is where I think the issue comes. I appreciate it if you want to teach me to fish, because now you've killed two birds with one stone. I don't have to come to you and ask, because I can go out there and I can fish for my own, and then I can turn around and I can teach somebody else, and it just pays it forward, right? But I still got to go fishing somewhere. Somebody might be like, well, yeah, you're supposed to do that. That makes sense. But the point is, if it's not some kind of public, repository, fishing hole, whatever you want to call it, somebody is going to benefit from me fishing. And that's when it hit me. I thank you for teaching me to fish, but I don't want you to teach me to fish. I want you to tell me where you're getting the fish from. Somebody said, well, they're getting it from the place where they're going to fish for. It's like, right, or at least maybe, right? Again, I know some people will say, you're thinking too hard and too heavy on it. You're thinking too deep on it. But am I? The saying doesn't say, I can go and fish for a fish for you and then give it to you. It doesn't say that. It doesn't imply that. You can make the argument that it does. But it's much more likely that even if that's the case, that there's still something else that's there. Because, okay, then where are you fishing for your stuff from? That you have so much that you can just give me some. Even if it just be that one. Even if it just be that every day you randomly choose one person. You see what I'm saying? And that's the part that got me. Thank you for teaching me to fish. I appreciate it. I don't need that so much in my life anymore, because I know it benefits somebody else. And it's not that I have an issue with it benefiting somebody else. What I have an issue with is this hamster wheel that we're on in life. I can't get into all of that right now. You either get it or you don't. It's something that I'll go deeper into on a later date. But I don't like this hamster wheel that we're on. I have zero issue with contributing to this and helping that. I got no issue with that. I don't have an issue with paying it forward. What I have an issue with is having to depend on something that I actually don't have to depend on, if that makes sense. Some systems are made to where we basically at least feel like, or where it seems like we have to depend on the thing when we really don't have to. And that's where my issue comes. I've lived too long and I've seen too much. Certain things that are set up in society for us to have to do, and if they tell us that we have to do, we don't really have to do them. It's just something that's there, that they've made it that way, whether they've done it to make it harder or more challenging or more difficult, or whether they've made it that way, I'm trying to be careful, but I'm going to say it, for the purpose that they benefit. I don't know, and I don't care. The bigger point is, Don't teach me how to fish, at least not without telling me where you're getting your fish from, telling me how I can get my own fishing hole, all those things. That's my time for the day, y'all. God bless. Stay up. Peace out.